Good to see you, my folks. We usually start this off. This is our daily call at 12 o'clock. I'm Ron Story. I'm the head of SpeakerHub. I got a lot of positions, including being the head janitor and bottle washer. But my main job is to make sure that speakers get booked on stages, podcasts, and for press coverage. We do this call every day, again at 12 and at 7 p.m. We'll be adding a 3 p.m. one next week. This is where we used to answer your support questions and do a lot of those things, but that's changed. So starting today, we won't do any more support questions during the 12, 3 o'clock or 7 o'clock calls because it ends up just taking up a lot of the day. Because we have very good support right inside of the SpeakerHub Pro app. You can go directly to a chat bot where somebody's waiting for you 24 hours a day. So if it is a pressing concern, someone can answer your question immediately. You don't have to wait to this call. We want to make this call two things. One, where we celebrate the wins of the people that are on it, but also where we give you instructions on how to get booked on more stages. And if we're clogging that up with personal, how to connect my email or how do I find this, when we got a lot of videos and we got 24-hour support where you can answer those questions, we want to make this a bit more purposeful. So I know a lot of the folks who have been here for, Robert, that's funny. I know a lot of y'all have been, some of y'all have been here every day since October when we started doing these calls. So they're just getting too big, right? So if each person has a 2-minute comment and there are 20 people in the call, the whole call just ends up being comment and feedback instead of the educational things that we're trying to push. So we implemented a 30-second shot clock. 30 seconds. You got 30 seconds to get your point across. I'm muting you. It's the new rule, 30-second shot clock. Everybody got 30 seconds to make your point or you get muted. Why? Because y'all be talking too much. And we got to get it in 30 seconds so we can get to our teachings for the day and make sure that everybody, especially the new people, can come in and get a lot of value, not just get our opinions. Our goal is to get you on more stages. That's the only goal of SpeakerHub. There is no other goal. We have one goal, one band, one sound, one machine, just like on Drumline, one mission, get you on more stages. So we have a new person joining us, Gaynell. Look like we got Mamatha who's coming in. She's a new person also. This is where we normally introduce ourselves. On your first time, we let you go ahead and take 1 minute to introduce yourself, tell us about your topic and how we can help you to get booked on more stages. So Gaynell, or I think you're first. And then we have Mamatha. If you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. I know I was just on calls. I've spoken to both of you earlier today. So this is a welcome to SpeakerHub and to our community where you can decide if you want to become a member and use our services in order to help you get booked more. So Gaynell, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be great. Or Mamatha, if you want to go first, that would be great also.
All right, should I go?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, this is we wide open. I just want to kind of lay the
Want to
ground
make sure
rules.
you hear me.
Yep, we hear you, we see you. Yep.
When my 30 seconds begin.
Oh, you're good. You got a minute.
All right, great. So, hi everyone. Nice meeting you all. My name is Gaynell Watson. I am a John Maxwell certified speaker, coach, and trainer. We're headquarters, Maxwell Leadership is headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, but I am based in Jamaica for most of the time, but I go back and forth depending on what's happening. The reason I did this, I got into this, I think that's always an important place to start, is because I love helping people. There is a big potential in the capacity building space right now. And I find that, especially when I get more gigs in terms of speaking, that's when you also get other opportunities to engage more with other individuals, whether it's training sessions, role playing sessions. I do a lot of customized sessions based on the gaps or the needs for organizations and their individuals. I do a lot of mentorship for university students because I'm also a lecturer at the University of the West Indies here in Jamaica. And yeah, I just love helping people.
Yeah, well, welcome aboard. This is where we come to help you to help more people. So you're in the right place. If your goal is to get on more stages and to share your message and your perspective as a thought leader, you're in the right place. That's all that we talk about. We have a few jokes here and there. We even got a new theme song that one of our members put together for us. That's pretty dope. We debuted it last night on the nightly call. We may bring it out later today. But Mamata, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself also?
Thank you so much, Ron. Thank you. Hi, I'm Mamta from Bangalore, India, south of India. I have been into this very beautiful journey of training, coaching, mentoring, and I would say teaching for the last 25 years. It's been a tremendous learning for me. And now I have been trying to give the best of my learnings to people, including I do training, designing framework on more on leadership and management, storytelling, storyboarding, and different kinds of leadership. As well, I would love to talk to the youth. So I'm very closely connected with NGOs and the younger generation group of bodies where I participate as a speaker more often with different bodies in India. And also, I participated in the National Youth Forum in India, a pretty big youngsters group coming in, and then you do groom them on personality and the technological grooming they are supposed to have. Apart from this, I had very interesting opportunities to speak on the world forums for the World Women Conference last time in Colombo. And then again, I'll be representing in Indonesia this year in the month of May. So, where I want to really empower women in terms of entrepreneurship, leadership, and building their own personalities. So, I also work for Wiki, one of the very important women bodies, where we do group women again on the Mentoring and Soft Skills Council. This I'm the vice president for the particular group. So, I really cherish empowering women as a part of this. Apart from this, I did, take part in quite a few European conferences recently, one in Spain and then the other one in France as well. And so I'm looking forward to learn and then share from this entire beautiful cohort together. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ron, and
no,
over to you.
thanks. You saw the handoff. That was great. She must
Thank
have worked
you.
on TV. Thanks, Ron. Over to you. Okay, Max. I'm back. No, I'm just joking. Had to bring up my TV personality voice. But no, it's good to see everybody. Today I want to talk about something that kind of picks up on where we left off yesterday. Yesterday we had Vernice come on, Vernice Amore, the Fly Girl, and she's a former helicopter pilot who does a great job of speaking. But what she talked about was pricing progression. How 18 years ago she was charging $2,500. And after she did a few free gigs, someone asked her a price and she made up the highest price she could think about, which was 2,500 bucks. And then she goes to a Les Brown meeting and they asked her what was her price and she said 2,500 bucks and the person says never say a number lower than 5,000, right? And then she learned later on that you should add 100 to it. So instead of saying 5,000, you should say 5,300 because the 100 sounds a little bit lower than the 1,000. You don't want that 1,000 ringing in their brain. But as she began to progress up to 17,500, whatever, 10,000, 7,500, 10,000, 17,000, 20,000, and now she's settled at $50,000 per gig, and she's doing 6 gigs a month. And as she was going through it, she talked about it, but I think the thing that may have gotten overlooked is that she did that in 18 years, right? So no different than LeBron James playing basketball for free when he was 5 and 6. And then when he became 20, he made millions of dollars. A lot of times we're sold the dream of, I can start being a speaker today and charge $50,000 tomorrow. Now you have the right to ask for whatever you want to ask for, but understand that there's a level of skill that's expected as you make that transition. And over the last 6 years, I probably interviewed close to 5,000 speakers. And there's one thing that I found that doesn't always add up. There's a thing called cognitive dissonance. It's where you know something to be true, but what you feeling ain't really lining up to what they told you. And you got this little pain in your brain, like, I don't think they bullshitting me, right? And you have this, like, this ain't adding up. And I think a lot of times as speakers, we cause that in the minds of the person that's hiring us. Let me give you a great example. Do you all know how McDonald's smell? Anybody on here, you know what a McDonald's smell like? You can kind of imagine the mop water, the fried grease, the salt. You got that smell in your brain, right? But you also know what a high quality steakhouse smells like, right? You smell the steak, maybe the asparagus. It's a different smell than McDonald's. Imagine if you went into a McDonald's, you went into a steakhouse, but you smelled McDonald's. You kind of like, dude, I don't know if I want this. This probably ain't Ruth's Chris. This more Sizzler or whatever they used to call it back in the day. This more Steak and Shake than anything, right? And sometimes we want to make sure that we're not presenting Ruth's Chris, but giving off the fumes of McDonald's. Does that make sense? Because the people can see through it, and then it breaks the trust level, right? But how do you make sure that when you say your price, you're confident in it, you know it's a price that you should be, that you're confident that you can deliver the expectations at? Because anybody can say, I charge 50,000, right? But when you go to Vernice's page, you look at her speaker reel, you look at all the stuff that she has, you look at the testimonials, you see 50 grand, right? You see, yeah, she probably getting 50, right? Versus our stuff, and when I say our, I'm just talking about overall. I look at my site and it don't say 50 grand. My site don't say 50 grand at all. Now, SpeakerHub says a lot of things, which is not my personal brand, but SpeakerHub is professionally done. We got 3 full-time designers. Like, they work on that stuff. We get complimented on SpeakerHub all the time. But my personal site is not up to par like David Shand's. His website says 50 grand, right? When you go there, you like, dude, what type of 10K photo did they take this picture with, right? I'm going to bring it up so y'all can see it. Look at the clarity. And I like to use this as an example because it's one of those sites, and it's Book David, right? Look at this. It is crystal freaking clear. You could see the pupils in his eyes on this daggone photo. Like, it is professionally done. So it communicates a certain level, that first impression, that when they hire him, they're like, dude, if he put this much into this site, what is he going to bring when he comes to us? Right? So I wanted to bring that up because there's only one way to build the confidence it takes to be able to deliver on the price that you're asking. How many of y'all, what do you all think that is? What do you think it takes to build the confidence that it takes to be able to ask confidently for 15 grand and know you're going to deliver $40,000 worth of value? Anybody? This is wide open. You can talk about it. Experience. Rhonda, there it is. What else? Experience. How many people here, played a sport or had a professional, career or something of that sort, right? Demonstrated competence. Exactly, right? So one of the things that I know from athletes, and, I used to play the drums, and I played the drums since I was 4 years old, right? And you do it for free. But if you're going to be in the band, you're going to try out, right? You're going to try out for the pride of wearing that uniform, right? And I think about all the hours that I put into learning to play the drums. And when I think about the speaking industry overall, I don't know if we're always putting in that time. Now, I'm not judging anybody. I'm saying do a self-assessment and ask yourself, do you think you could improve your skill level by presenting more? Do you think you can improve your skill level by hosting more events of your own on your own stages? Do you think you could make more YouTube videos just to get in the mode of presenting your thoughts and your points of view to get feedback? Why? Because I can tell you, as someone who's done this now for 4 straight months, every single day, 4 straight months, go watch the first one and watch the ones now. Totally different. I wasn't bad at the beginning, but I'm so much more comfortable in my zone now on this topic than I was 4 months ago. Why? Because I just do it every day. Now we're doing it 2 days, 2 times a day. And next week it'll be 3 times a day, right? So I'm just going to get better at talking about the flywheel and giving my perspective on how to get you all booked on more stages. Don't cheat the game, right? That's all I'm saying. Don't cheat the game because you don't want the person to cheat you when it's time for you to pay for the value. Now, how many of y'all knew Vernice before yesterday? Yeah, one person. She ain't famous. She's not famous, but she ain't cheating the game. Look, she got 6 people a month paying her 50 grand. Some of us can't get 6 people to get us to speak for free. I'm serious. We can't get 6 stages a month for free. And she got 6 paying her 50, and she's not famous. But she hadn't cheated the game, right? So she said, look, I flew to Vegas to go to another, an event that I wanted to speak at so I can go network with the people and introduce myself so that in a year or 2, maybe I can speak here. Look at the foresight that she has. She's thinking years down the road. I'm planting seeds today for events I want to speak at in 2026 and 2027. Most of us canceling or quitting whatever we're doing because we didn't get booked next week. We're constantly changing. I'm doing this week. I'm doing that. Or you just not committed to nothing. Now, let me show you the funny thing. We did a survey. And on this survey, we had people to put their names in. Hey, put in your name and take the speaker status survey. And when we had the name up front, where you had to put your name in up front, as soon as, you know what our number 1 drop-off question was? How many gigs did you do and how much money you make? That's what everybody billed when they had to put their name in there first. They didn't want to talk about it. I don't want people to know that this ego don't match my actions. Right? See, Rob knew me when I used to be Preacher Ron. And we used to hold each other accountable like you wouldn't believe. Right? I've known Robert for 30 years. We were 18. Right? And bruh, you nothing slid with us. Nothing. Right? So it was this huge accountability circle that I grew up in where it was like, look, if you're going to be talking this Christian stuff, you better be living it. Right? But I didn't realize that even though that was 30 years ago, that affected me my entire life. That if I'm going to be talking, I got to be out front. I should be probably living it. Right? But it was interesting to see people drop off at that point. Now, why is that important? Because we're here to get you on more gigs, but you can't get help unless you admit that you're not where you want to be. If I had a broken leg, if I never told anybody, I'm just going to be limping. And every time they say, man, why are you limping? I'm like, oh, nothing. They're like, dude, you see your knee is swollen as a mug. No, it ain't swollen. That's how I want it to be. Come on, man. Nobody on here wants to be doing 5 gigs a year. We got the data. Like, nobody wants to be doing under 25 grand. 80% of speakers make under $50,000 a year. You could have kept your 6-figure job. You could have kept your job. Don't quit your job to go do this because somebody sold you a dream, because the data ain't lining up. So we want to get you on more stages. I want you to be able to show up like David. Now, why do I bring up David? David does a podcast every day. He runs a group called Social Proof every day. The morning meetup, they meet every day to talk about how to make money online. Is he teaching people how to speak? No, but he's in his zone doing his thing on a daily basis. Right? Because that's who we aspire to be. Because sometimes we see these guys, we're like, oh man, I'm better than him, but you ain't doing the work he's doing. Right? So to believe that you're better than him, to show the world that you're better than him. So let me share something with you. Let's look at these numbers. Because I don't, sometimes we got to confront the brutal facts. How many speaking gigs have you delivered in the last 12 months? These were the answers. We've had over 1,000 people fill this out. All right, 44% are doing under 5. 65% are doing under 10. Are you all surprised by that? Because that ain't the narrative that we hear on Instagram. Right? Let's come over. What's your average speaker fee? 75% of the industry is under $5,000. Right? Now, again, remember, when we put the thing up there, nobody wanted to answer this. Once we removed it, everybody answered it and told the truth, and then we asked for the information at the end. Right? 75% are under $5,000. So if you're doing 5 gigs, even if you maxed it out, you did 5 gigs, you charge $5,000, you did the 10 gigs. Look at this. 68% of the industry are under $25,000 in revenue. If we add that to this, 80% of speakers are making under $50,000 a year. Now, why is that important? Because you still got to pay for your trainings, you still got to pay for SpeakerHub, you still got to pay for Infusionsoft or whatever other software you're using. So it ends up, you got to pay your assistant and everything else. All I'm saying is this, guys. Watch this. Here's why I'm showing this. I'm going to come down here. 2 things. How much are you investing in trying to get more gigs? 85% said under $500. Hard to grow anything on $500. But even if you weren't doing that, let's go over and let's check another box. Let's say, well, Ron, maybe you're wrong. Okay. The people that are on this call are the few, the proud. Why? Because I know if you're on this call, you're doing cold outreach. That's why you're here. But look at your competition. They waiting on referrals. Think they got control over that? Repeat business from previous clients. They ain't got no previous clients. They doing less than 5 gigs. They ain't got no previous clients. So that ain't working. Passive. Social media. You think Mark Zuckerberg gonna show your stuff to event planners for free? No, he's showing it to your cousins and your uncles that follow you. They ain't booking you. They don't even believe in you. They don't effort you when you say you're a speaker. They're like, dude, she bought some course. By paying no attention to her. She used to sell nails last week, right? That's how it be. Y'all know that's how it is. Our family are the hardest people to convince. My mama didn't know what I did for a living until last year when my sister told her. And I've been buying businesses for years, but they didn't believe when I first started, so I just left them out of it, right? Speaker bureaus and agents. Most of us aren't making enough money to get represented by these. So these are the people that were in the rest of the thing. Now, why am I talking this way today? Because if we don't address that this is where we are, right? This is where we are as speakers. We got to get on other stages. We got to use this proactive outreach. You know, we put in some rules for the overall meeting because I didn't want this to be the only stage that you all spoke on. Right? We get a lot of comments and questions and things like that, but I'm like, what other stages you on? Come on, some other stages, right? So I'm here, this is encouraging. Why? Because we know where we're starting at. And my job is to give you the tools, but you can always be doing more. So yesterday we made a comment that if you weren't speaking, you should be selling. So you got 8 hours in the day. If everybody only has 5 gigs a year, that means that that's 1 every 2 months. What are you doing with the 40 hours during the week? Are you pitching? Are you trying to get on? I know it's a part-time thing. Don't hit me with that one. I know what y'all about to say. Well, I do this on the side of my other job. I understand. 78% of them is part-time. I know that. I respect that. But a lot of you all aspire for this to be full-time. One of the main questions I get, how much time do I need to put in order to make this a full-time gig? Full-time work. Until the speaking gigs take up the marketing time, you got to do that, right? It's an exchange. Does this make sense? Is this helpful? Are you all upset with me? If you are, oh well, this is what needs to happen. You got to get better. We all got to get better. SpeakerHub has to get better at providing you with the tools and the things that you need to remove some of those barriers, right? But at the same time, it's your business. So, Robert, go ahead. 30 seconds.
So, first of all, thank you. I appreciate the hard talk, as you know, from back in the day. So the basic thing is this. Kara's been doing a phenomenal job at our cold outreach. She did 190 reach outs last month, and she's doing her 10 a day like we're supposed to. What should we be looking at? And Kara, you can tell what the specific numbers were. I think we got 4 podcasts that we've gotten responses back from. What should we be looking at to make ourselves better after we're doing the work? Now, how do we track it, or how do we improve?
Yep, that's actually really good. So the first thing to make SpeakerHub work is the activity. So I'm glad to hear that you started mentioning the activity that you all are doing. And we've seen Kara on the call several times in the last few weeks. So the activity is exactly right. What happens once you're doing the activity, that's when you start fine-tuning the podcast that you're going on, right? So here's what I would do, Kara. I would find 5 people that are at Robert's level on his topic that you all know. Robert probably knows 5 of his competitors. Then I would find 5 people that are 1 or 2 steps further ahead than Robert. Everybody can do this. Find the 5 people that are on your level and 5 people that are a little bit further ahead than you. Now, why is that? Because here's what we're going to do. We're going to hop into SpeakerHub Pro. Let me go over here, pro.speakerhub. We're going to hop in here and we're going to go, and this is just for podcasts. I'm going to go to associations and conferences next. But so on the podcast, I can search based on topic. So I can put in baseball or whatever, but that's in the podcast section. But if I'm trying to go on, let's say Brian Olds, he runs a speakers group, I know that if I type in Brian Olds, it's going to bring up every podcast Brian has been on, and I can just walk the beaten path. I ain't got to wonder if they going to meet with me because they met with Brian, right? We talk about the same topic, and he was on there a year ago, right? This one was 2023. I can go right back on this podcast tomorrow because it's been 2 years since someone has covered this topic. Is that helpful, Robert? So that's
phenomenal.
This is being able to walk the beaten path. Go ahead.
Can I give a little adaptation to this brilliant technique that I've been doing? So what I discovered is that when I do a search, and I've been using this is actually now how I search for, but when I search for podcasts, searching for a person under the podcast tab, what happens is it brings up, because I've searched for so many podcasts under the podcast tab, when I go under episodes, it invariably brings up a bunch of podcasts that I've already pitched under, searching under episodes. So what I do is I write them down or, put them into a doc. And then it's a 2-step process. And then I take the names of the podcasts and I search for those under the podcast tab. That way I will not double pitch those podcasts. Does that make sense?
Yep. I totally get it. And then here's another way. That makes a lot of sense, Melissa. Here's another way, a similar way. In your filters, there's a button that says show only uncontacted. So watch all these orange ones that I've already reached out to. When I click that, boom, and hit filter, they're gone. They're going to still bring up the ones that Brian has been on, but it's not going to bring up the ones that I've already reached out to, right? So it's not exactly the way that Melissa goes about it, but the show only uncontacted removes the duplicates of the ones that you've already reached out to. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So
this is
make
awesome.
a list
Thank
of people that are at your level. and then the people that are a few steps ahead of you. The ones that are at your level, you're probably a little ahead of them anyway, but you could at least go and show a different perspective. And then you start leveling up. And as you move up, you go further ahead, right? Like I would be a fool to reach out to podcasts that Grant Cardone has been on. He's so far ahead of me. But I got to have the self-awareness to know I'm not Grant Cardone, right? But there are other speakers that I could, Pete Vargas, I could go and go on the podcast he's been on, right? I can do those because we pretty much the same as far as our impact on speakers. Does that make sense? So
yeah, that makes perfect sense. That's awesome.
That's one of the ways. Now, here's one of the great things about podcast. Podcast, you can see the people who've been on it. When you search for association, they don't have a list of their speakers. So podcast could be topical, it could be personality based, right? And it could be industry based or audience based. So those are the four things. When you come over to an association, it is industry and audience. I can't type Brian Olds in the associations and find the associations that Brian has spoken at. But I can find the industry that I want to go talk at. So if I wanted to go talk to the software associations, I can type software and it's going to bring in those industry audiences. Or if I wanted to find teachers, that's audience, right? I can type that in and it's going to bring up all the teachers. Do you see what I mean? Because associations do their naming protocol based on industry and audience. Do you see that? So you search industry and audience. That's how you do associations.
Yeah.
Media outlet is usually industry based. Right? So if I know I want to go on parents, right? Industry and audience again, I type in parents, it's going to bring up all the parent-based magazines. Right? So just remember that when you're searching for topics, when you're searching for conferences, you might not find someone that says, hey, I want to speak at all the Black Women at Beatbox conference. Well, we don't know who have that. But we know the ones that we can think about the conferences that Black women may be at, right? We can think about an industry specific thing that they may be a part of, right?
Yeah.
So let's think about it from that perspective. That should help you to get some more fine-tuned results. But also remember, and your mom, I'm going to get to you in a moment. There's only 3 speeches that can be given. You can help someone to become a better leader. You can help someone to improve a skill. And you can help someone to grow a business. Every topic that you have, that's everyone in here, you can adjust your topic to those 3 areas. Why? Because the event planner doesn't care about what your topic is. The event planner cares about their topic. Let me give you a great example. This week, someone from the military hit me up. I get these every week. They send me private messages saying, I need a speaker on this multi-generational workforce. I sent her 3 military people. She looked at their thing. She said, they don't talk on this. I said, they do. I've already talked to them. And she said, really? I said, yes. Here are the 3 people. She looked at them. She says, holy crap. And they wrote a private synopsis that I sent to them personally. And she says, I love this. Thank you. Now, here's what happened. They looked on our website, and we talk about this all the time. They had these very specific things that they talked about. These are my 5 keynotes. She looked and canceled them 5 damn things out so quick. Right? But she says, hey, I work in workforce leadership or workforce communication. Cool. Now she can dig a little deeper to get, hey, can you give a speech around this topic? Do you see how valuable that is? Guys, we have niched ourselves in the corner to 5 freaking gigs. You've niched yourself backed yourself into a corner and you say, oh, nobody wants me. No, they want you. You just said, I only talk to these little things that do these little things.
Right.
Now, that is advice that has been given to you by somebody who's never booked anybody but themselves. They don't get the requests we get. And then I gotta go and defend you. No, she can do it. I promise you, she can do it. Right? And they're like, Ron, come on, don't send me off. And I'm like, I'm not gonna put my reputation on the line. So I asked those speakers, write something for me if you can do this. Is this making sense? This is our job on this side. So I have no interest in telling you the wrong things. Makes sense? So
that's powerful. Thank you.
This is really, really, really important because the person doesn't know you as well as you know you. I'll give you a great example of it. The more you can put into what you do, we got a question that says, who do you help? Or how do you help? And people put, I teach on leadership. And then when the AI writes the thing, it says, man, they didn't even mention that I wrote 3 books and I did this and I was in the Marines. I'm like, you didn't tell, the AI don't know you. Garbage in, garbage out. Like, we got to take this serious, man. Like, dude, I don't, look, if you understood the standard that I hold my people to at SpeakerHub, our employees, you couldn't work for me. Some of y'all could, but I don't know who couldn't. But I'm just saying, we set a standard, right? Because we trying to win. That's why you ain't never seen nobody do this stuff, because we're like, nah, we are the best. We will be the best. We will perform as if we're the best. If you ain't doing this, we got to have a talk. Why? Because when the thing don't work, guess who Darren gonna call? Ron, I need that refund, bro. Right? You know, they're gonna say, man, this ain't working. I'm like, yo, so what's the choice? Hold y'all accountable or hold us accountable? How about we do both? Right? So I want to get you all on more gigs, but we got to get better at how we present ourselves and how many times we're presenting ourselves. Does that make sense? Those standards that we give you, those are the floor. So high five, Rob, for doing the 10. But Car, if you got time to send 50, send 50. If you got time to, look, some people sending, Jamar sent 700 in February. He was in there pitching. Right? So that's all that I'm saying. It's like, let's find out what the standards are and then go above and beyond, because it's in your best interest. It don't help me. You already paid me, whether you use the pitches or not. They don't accrue interest like Bitcoin. So what y'all saving them for? All right, you got to send them. They only make money when they're sent. Is this fair? Again, I'm just being big brother today, because I be feeling bad when I be like, dude, like this person has this much potential, yet we the only stage they talk on. This person can help so many people and they ain't even subscribed yet. They come to all the meetings, they don't even have an account. What the hell is going on? They got the opportunity to be great, but yet they're afraid. It's like you're afraid to look in your own mirror.
You got to tell them how I stalked you, Ron, until I stalked you like hell, right? Didn't I?
Oh, 100%. Right? But that's it. It takes that tenacity for yourself, guys. I believe in you, but I can't do the work for you. So any comments? We're 43 minutes in. Sorry for the TED Talk today, but there are a lot of people we got to help. When we think about Cardis, who was on here yesterday, and I just happened to be on with Vernice earlier, helping her with some of her sales and marketing stuff. I didn't know she was coming on. I didn't know she inspired Cardis to want to be a speaker 20 years ago. We just never know who's listening, who needs to hear this message. Darren, what kid, what manager needs your F42 formula? You know, Kathleen, I know you want to help women. They need you, baby. They need your behind helping them. Kathleen Coleman, I'm talking to you. They need you. They need you. When June comes around, they're going to need you even more, right? This is what it's about. It's what it's about. You know, comments, thoughts. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, hey, tell me, Ron. You don't know what you're talking about.
No, I think you're right on point, Ron. Sorry for not being on camera. Let me hop on camera real quick. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
So, some of the questions that I had is like, I'm playing like devil's advocate at some point of saying like, okay, I really want to do speaking things, but like I don't have content yet, or I don't have a book yet, or my speaker page is not filled out yet. Like, what is kind of like the order of progression that you should get the biggest bang for your buck when you're making those initial steps? I think that might be a question, because I know it's a question for me at some points.
Yep. All right. What was Jesus' website? What was Buddha's website?
No website.
What was his speaker page?
No website.
You see how we can always come up with an excuse to not do it. You were impacting people before today. You doing your lunch and learns before today. I'm just saying, like, why don't we ask these questions? I'm talking to you, D9 to D9.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, it makes sense.
Pro fight to Neo. Why are we asking these questions, Cardis?
Yeah. We should just go do it. Just do something. Make a
Go
step.
help somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody, y'all ever seen my speaker page? I ain't even got one. I don't care. That don't stop me from getting on here live and helping y'all every day. Y'all seen my I ain't even got a SpeakerHub profile. Right? Right? I'm working on a project to prove you don't need none of this. Right? And it's on purpose. AJ and I was talking about it the other day. I got something for y'all. Wait till June. Yeah, y'all gonna hate me in June. I promise you. You are gonna hate me in June. Wait till June comes around and you see what I'm working on for June, because it will remove every excuse. Right? But Cardis, what you waiting on, bro? Come on, man. Don't hit me with that devil's advocate. Look.
No, I'm on it. Like I just been doing.
I'm just saying.
I'm doing what I can.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I'm being so aggressive on that. Because that little bitty seed of doubt feeds the excuse in somebody else's mind who's not as strong as you. It gives them the excuse. Yeah, he right. He even agreed with me. No, you're just trying to lose. So don't feed that crap for these folks' minds, Cardis. Somebody on YouTube gonna watch this and they're gonna not reach out to somebody because they heard, yeah, I probably should get mine right too. Cardis said, Cardis, come on, bro.
Like I'm getting to that mindset. You're training my mindset of just get it done. Like just do what you could do when you could do it and just keep on doing it. Like,
dude, all right. I don't know what happened when you pledged. Mm-hmm. But how many excuses did they accept when they gave you something to do and AJ understands. Now, everybody on here may not be in a fraternity or a sorority, but I can talk to these two like that because I know that Iota Phi Theta don't go for that BS and neither does Omega Psi Phi. They tell you to do something, no matter what you had to do, you got it done. And Phi Eta, I forgot Rob was over here, Phi Eta 2.
Bro.
So I want to hear the excuses. we too big for that. The military understands the same stuff. If you in the military, they give you something to do. Rob was in the Marines or Navy, which one?
You can't be making that mistake. Like those are that so similar, bro. Like Marine Corps all day long. Like
I can't remember, right? But in the same way, there's some discipline and some consequences, right? So same thing in football. You miss a block and see what happens. So go ahead, Jasmine.
Go on, preacher Ryan. No, I'm just in line with what you're saying, because I read a book many, many years ago, and my experience, like I feel like this work that I'm doing is way easier than what I've done, because you have for fitness facility that needs to open and you got to put members in there or else everything goes bust, right? So when I wake up every day, I read that book years ago, First Things First. I think it's Stephen Covey, but I read it maybe 20 years ago. But it still keeps in my head where first things first. And I always assess the business I'm doing. What is it that I need to do to win every day? And at the end of the day, can I say, did I win this day? And so I come in and I look at, I look at my pitch, whatever, pitches are remaining. And I said, okay, there's no excuses. You can do 100 pitches or you can do whatever. And as you know, I've done over almost 1,000 pitches already. And I get the bookings. Once I get the interviews, I get the bookings, I get the conferences, right? So it is not hard for someone, and I know we have 30 seconds, you can cut me off. It is not hard if we get that mind frame, and you coming on here, you're reminding us what to do. You're not chastising us. No one should take it personal. No one should say, well, I'm a speaker. How dare he talk to me that way? No, it's not the case. You do need to kind of snap people back into reality, and whoever it fits will wear it that day,
I
and that's
appreciate
how
that.
I look at it.
No, I think you hit it right on the head. Someone told me in order to live like a king, you got to work like a slave, right? And I agree with that, right? It's easy to dream about the other side, but it's hard to get there. And we got to walk that mountain or that heavy road to get there. Darren, what's going on?
I think Jasmine kind of hit it on the head. I mean, for all your listeners who may want to consider this, I think the biggest thing, man, when you begin is to be involved with a community of people like this.
100%. Now, here's the great thing about it. Even if you have a program with us that gives you 100 pitches or 200 pitches or 400 pitches or however many pitches that you were allocated, when you do the follow-ups, right, you should be able to get in front of a sufficient amount of opportunities. Now, at the beginning, your results will be different than what it will be 2 to 3 months in, because you're learning how to get better at telling your story, finding the right people to talk to, right? But have confidence that, wait, I did get a result. All right, I got this person to respond. Okay, maybe I should have mentioned this. Let's work on that. And that's how you just improve over time. We don't have it figured out for everyone. How many of you all are average? Any average people in here? Right? Just average? No, nobody believes that you're average. Everybody believes that they're above average, but yet we focus on the average results. Find the results, the numbers that work for you and your particular topic in your particular area. So don't worry about the averages. We give you that just to set a baseline. But in reality, it's going to take this or it's going to take that. It's going to be different for Cardis, then Jadika, then AJ, then Kathleen, then my mama, Mamatha. It's going to be different for everyone. So Yamama, you had a question? You want to go ahead? I saw your hand up, then it went down.
Yeah, hello everyone. Actually, I am here to invite you all on my conference that is going to be happen on Women's International Day, 8th of March. I have shared the link in this group, and if it's it's very first experience for me that I'm speaking on this webinar for around more than 8,000 people are attending that seminar. And I'm giving, my speech on empowering women, how to empower women digitally to build their, wealth, career, and focus. So this was my topic, and I shared the link in this chat. So I invite you all attend that seminar and give me some, appreciation or remarks, whatever you want to share. So I'm looking forward to join your pro version as well, because I've been in this group for a while, and I'm listening to all people over here and what's going on around. So after this seminar, I'm looking to be a pro member of your, SpeakerHub. So I hope so. It will benefit me.
Oh yeah, we got you. We got you. We're gonna help you. Again, our thing is we can give you all the tools in the world, right? And we believe that you all have the initiative, you got the passion, the audience is waiting. So we're here for you. We're going to be here every day. We add another time, 12, 3, 7, 12, 3, and 7 Eastern time, starting on
Your
Monday.
payment is monthly or it's a yearly packages you have?
It's on a monthly. You can pay monthly.
Okay.
Right? Yep, you can pay monthly. So we should, Ange, can you send her my calendar so that we can hop on and talk about that? But this is where we're going, guys. Look, I'm trying to find the winners, right? The things that we have coming up in the next month, we're going to be segmenting groups and talking directly to the emerging speakers separately from the experienced speakers, and separating the experienced speakers from the expert speakers, because you all got different problems and different issues. The person that's just starting has an activity issue. The person that's in the middle has a fee issue. The person who's experienced has a systems issue. Do you see what I mean? Some of the systems that we have are too advanced at the beginning, but we make them available to you, but you really don't need them, right? But when I met with Vernice yesterday, I'm like, oh, you don't have that? She's like, no, I don't even know that about that. I'm like, dude, we can take you to the moon if we just put these 3 things in place, right? So we're going to help you based on where you are to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Again, can I make one suggestion to you?
Yeah, sure.
How many of y'all are in the speaking business?
I'm in speaking business just a month ago.
Okay, right? How about we stop saying, let's go to the intellectual property business, right? Let me tell you why. Melissa, if you have a question, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to tell you why we want to be in the IP business. Now, one of my favorite books, as you all know, is 7 Habits. But look at where this one piece of intellectual property, what it's manifested itself into. They've segmented it now by if it's the leaders, if it's the individual, is it the culture at work, is it what happens after you've implemented it? They've segmented this thing all the way down, right? Now, I think some of y'all may have heard me ask this question or heard me talk about this. What do you think the revenue is just from this one piece of intellectual property? Now, before you say, well, that's something different. No, it's not. Why? Because they doing conferences, they got a speakers bureau, they doing workshops, but they've built it upon passing that intellectual property down to other speakers. Robert, do you have your own framework? What's your framework?
So I have an Empower framework, and then I also have a Success framework.
Okay. So let's say your Empower framework. Imagine training other people to go teach the Empower framework. Because that's what they have. They have 7 Habits practitioners. There's another guy named Gene Wickman. Gino Wickman has
EOS.
traction. And people pay him 50 grand a year just to be able to teach traction. That's the power of intellectual property. Jadika, your massage techniques and the things that you know, you can have 100 people teaching the same thing, and they're paying you to use your brand. How many of y'all ever heard of CrossFit? CrossFit is a brand, and they got to pay a license to put CrossFit on a store because CrossFit isn't a regular gym. It is a methodology of training that you have to license. We got to get out of the speaking business. We got to get in the IP business. See you later, Robert. We got to get into the IP business. Does this make sense? Why is that important? Look at the value. Now, y'all thought that 50 grand was great with Vernice. Watch this. Let me show you. Who wants to guess? Put in the chat how much you think this Franklin Covey generates a year. Put it in the chat. What y'all think? What's the guesses? Let's see. 220,000. Okay. 2 million. That's good. Keep going. Let's see. Come on. Don't be shy. Ain't no wrong answers. 4 million. 1 billion. Say Ron. 6 million. 3 billion. Kathleen, millions plus. Right? So I'm going to share it with you. That piece of intellectual property, those are great guesses. That one piece of intellectual property is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Right now, if you wanted to buy that company, it would be $407 million to buy it. That is the market cap of that company, $407 million. Every year, they're selling $287 million worth of product around the 7 habits. Holy smokes. That's one speech. That's one speech. One idea, one concept of 7 habits. That's so this 7-figure speaker thing is cool until you see a 9-figure business. Right? But that's what we have. We just got to get the systems to do it. Right? We've already seen it. A workout technique, a massage technique. If they can, you ever heard of massage envy, Janika? Yeah. What if you have massage remedy that showed people how they could get rid of pain instead of just going to relax, but it could be a pain relief type of franchise. That's the power of intellectual property. We're thinking too small, guys. But if you don't learn the marketing now while you're small, you ain't gonna be able to do it when you get bigger. The habits follow you. Is that fair? Melissa, I saw your hand go up and flash. I don't know if you were agreeing to something or you had a comment.
Oh, no, I was trying to just raise my hand in.
Oh, gotcha.
in
No, it makes sense.
relation to your question.
Cameras and all. No, it makes sense. But do you see the idea? We got to stop thinking of ourselves as speakers, because it'll stop us from writing the book we need to write. It'll stop us from creating a course we need to create. It'll stop us from hiring the people that can teach our intellectual property also. Does that make sense? I can promise you one thing. Ange understands the flywheel just as well as everybody else on this call, right? Because I teach it every day, right? The intellectual property gets in you, you start using it, you start, man, when you hear somebody talking about they can't get booked, I guarantee you somebody said, man, you need to do the flywheel. Man, it's this thing over at SpeakerHub, and they tell you to do podcasts and this and that at the same time, and it's working for me. Boom. That means that I passed that intellectual property from my head to Cardis's. Right? So there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. And it's time for speakers to stop being speakers and start understanding that you're in the IP business. And when you treat it like that, you respect it. Then you start charging what you're worth. Let me teach you something really quickly, and then we're going into overtime. Show you something. How much is this? If y'all went to the store to buy this, what'd you say, Darren?
$2.
$2, right? $2. That is exactly it. $2, right? How much is this? If you went to the store to buy it, AirPods, $150, more or less. iPhone, $600-700, depending on what model it is, right? That's called a transaction, right? So there's 2 types of sales. There's transactional sales, where it's things that we know the price of, and it's easy to compare it to something else. Oh man, Google got some and they're not as expensive, right? Because we know the price of these things. Does that make sense? The other thing is a transformational sale. What's the value of having the pain go away of somebody who didn't want to take medicine that may have an allergic reaction? That's worth way more than $100. What's the value of a person who says, you know what? I don't want to commit suicide, or I don't want to do something crazy to myself because they were motivated by a speech that one of you all gave. That's the power you got. So we're pricing ourselves based on transactional things instead of the transformation that happens when we show up. Does that make sense? We've all talked to somebody. I know I've done it. I talk to them like, dude, let me just help you. I help them. And then they go off and they're like, man, dude, I did what you said. I made this amount of money. I'm like, yo, where's my part? But it ain't, that's my fault. I didn't ask for the money up front. I can't be a, oh man, you owe me. No, that's passive aggressive. I should have asked for it up front. Does that make sense? You're going to go and make this transformation in the wellness. Jasmine, someone gets off of diabetes medicine.
Yeah.
Melissa, you working with tech CEOs and tech companies. You think they ain't taking what you're saying and taking it to the bank? We got to raise our fees. So let's talk about that. I got 5 minutes, right? Cardis, what's your fee? Cardis left. Oh, he bailed on us. Darren, what do you charge?
I charge $2,500
$2,500. Why?
because I'm an emerging speaker.
Says who?
I mean, just based off of what I've experienced.
Okay. So where's the standard that that's what you should be charging?
I'll probably set it for myself. There's
Okay.
no standard.
Would you like to make more?
Of course.
When?
Right now, if I can.
Okay. So what do you charge?
I charge $5,000.
Okay. Well, let's do it again. What do you charge? You see that? Wait, hold on. I want to use this because this is good. This is what I was talking about. What number can you say without stuttering? You see, the first time you say that number, you ain't comfortable with it. So I charge 5,000, right? You got to practice saying it, boy. Look in the mirror. 5,000. Yo, my number 5. 5,100.
5,100. That's what I was about to say. If I put 100 on it.
5,100, 4,200, 8,400. Make it a multiple of your 42. At worst, if you're doing F42, the worst you should ever accept is 4,200. Just on the basis of the number.
True.
Now, here's the one thing that I took away from Vernice yesterday. She said, no matter what number you say, they're going to negotiate it. They go, no matter, if you said 2,500, they're going to say, you can't do it for 15. So you may as well say 7,500 or something anyway and let them negotiate you down a little bit. So Darren, what do you charge for a gig?
I actually charge $4,200, right? But at the same time, I have different options and products to offer.
Okay. So say the number and let it be.
Gotcha.
4,200. For a 1 hour keynote is 4,200. Right? Just let it be. Right? Does this make sense, guys? We got to get confident in them numbers. We got to. AJ, go ahead.
I do want to tell y'all this based on working with the event planners that I work with. Honestly, you can go too low. If the budget for a speaker is 10,000 and you only charge 5,000, they will pass over you even if they like you because the owner wanted a $10,000 speaker. So don't be scared of your price. Like, let your price be your price. Because if they want that range of speaker and you don't say that price, they'll pass over you.
100%. So I'll tell you a story. Y'all ever been to Miami? Real quick, I got 2 minutes. I'm going to share this with you. Look at this here. Let me show you this. They got the $1,000 steak. Now, if you ever come to my house, you know there's something that I know about, which is steak. This $1,000 tomahawk. Now, they sell this dumb thing here in Medellin, too. They can't get $1,000 for it. They do the same presentation. They bring it out in the diamond box. I got it on tape. I'll show it to y'all tomorrow. They bring it out in the diamond box with all this crap on it, and it's $1,000. That's about $50 at the most worth of ribeye, that tomahawk, right? But why can they get $1,000 for it with Ruth's Chris can only get $75 for it? Because they weren't selling steak. They were selling the attention that the person gonna get and all the eyes getting to turn over to them and people get to see them cheering and it's my birthday and all of that crap. The attention. Sometimes the things that we're providing isn't what the person was buying. Right? Janika, they're buying pain relief. They're not buying a massage, right? Does that make sense?
Very much so.
Right? So that's what we got to think about. We got to look at it from that perspective. Milan McGowan, nice to meet you. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm sorry, I just put some pizza in my mouth. My name is Milan, and I'm starting out on my consulting for marketing. So just looking for new avenues, even with speaking. But thank you so much for this information.
Oh yeah, no, you're definitely welcome. Here's the thing. We do this call every day from 12 noon until my next meeting. And today, until my next meeting show, we're going to keep talking. We do it at 12 noon, again at 7 p.m. And starting on Monday, we'll be adding a 3 p.m. time. So no matter where you are in the world, you'll be able to join us. Our goal is to get speakers, consultants, thought leaders on more stages, right? So we do that by teaching you the real deal stuff, not the fluff. We won't help you write your speech. That's not our thing right now. Eventually it will be, but right now we ain't doing that. We got to get y'all with them speeches you already got on stages. Y'all got speeches that are riding on your desk that you've never given that you need to start giving, right? So we're going to help you to share your words with other people because they're relying on you to help them make the transformation in their lives that they're trying to make, right? So I appreciate everybody that comes on to this call. Gaynell, hopefully this was worth it, and you feel like you're at home because this is what we do, right? Milan, glad you came. Mamatha, glad you came and stayed. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else that's come in, but this is what we do. We want to get you on more stages by giving you the tools, but also giving you the accountability that you need to go and make that impact. Darren, I wasn't picking on you. I just want you to be better. I think I got to get you to make some more money, right? We got to be able to get you more fees, more, because you got the goods, right? But we're going to push those fees up for everybody because if you don't believe it, they don't believe it.
Oh yeah, and Ron, bro, I come from a hard family, man. You ain't never picking on me, bro. You ain't gotta give all the disclaimers, man.
I'll tell you why I do it. Because people have advocates that you may not be offended, but somebody will be Bluetooth offended for you.
No, I appreciate that. But they ain't got to worry about that. It's a whole lot rougher down south on that
Why
bayou.
he talking to him like that? He ain't have to put him on the spot like that. That ain't you done seen comments on YouTube and Instagram. I don't need the Bluetooth responses. Like somehow they connected to you. They ain't never met you in your life. Right? Any other questions before we call it a day? Or I'm waiting on my meeting to show up. They haven't showed up, so I can keep going. It's really up to you guys. AJ, Milan, anybody, anything
Question.
that you have in your brain?
Okay, and I know this may take more time, but just best way to hone your craft, best way to understand what you're doing, whether it's motivational speaking versus, presenting or, informational speaking, like best way.
Yep. I'll give you the easiest way to do it. So speaking, see you later, Darren. Speaking is basically sharing your perspective. Does that make sense? So we all can look at the same elephant and get a different perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So if we agree that speaking is sharing my perspective on a topic, the best way I can develop my perspective and test it with the world is to do it more often. The easiest way to do that is to get interviewed on podcasts because you're just not giving a one-way feedback. It's a dialogue where the person may be challenging some of your perspectives on that topic.
Got it.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So my perspective on how to get booked for speaking gigs gets stronger and stronger every day because I got 30 to 40 speakers that come in twice a day that beat the hell out of me with questions about how do they get booked, and they have no problem arguing with me. I'm okay with that. Why? Because that strengthens my belief. right?
Got
It strengthens
Mhm.
my method. I get to show more of my results. So that's how you develop a perspective. It's not developed in a vacuum. It's not developed in a closet where it's not being challenged. Because the minute that you go on the public stage with the perspective that hasn't been challenged, it will be evident. The minute you open up the Q&A, somebody gonna get you.
Okay.
And we've all seen it. We've all seen somebody stump somebody with a question that they weren't prepared for.
Perfect.
Is that
That
fair?
makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Because I thought you might say Toastmasters or, something that's a normal avenue, but I do like that.
Yeah. So I don't teach anything I haven't done. I
Got it.
didn't go through Toastmasters.
Okay.
Toastmasters may be able to help me with my technique, but they can't help me with my perspective. They don't teach me how to think. They don't live my life and take in my experiences. So they can work with me on how to open, how to close, how to build drama and all of that stuff, but they can't develop perspective,
That makes sense.
right?
Yep.
That's why speaking is protected. See you later, Kara. That's why speaking is protected from AI. If I hear AI say, man, my 3-year-old said this, I'm like, you got a 3-year-old? ChatGPT got an 8-year-old? You lying. Right? We know he lying because he ain't got no kids. But I really got a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old. You saw my goddaughter look through the thing. She 10. She opened the door 10 minutes ago. I can really tell those stories about, how they broke the door in my house. Playing hide and seek. They done pulled the daggone door off the track. ChatGPT can't tell that story and have that perspective on living with kids. Does that make sense?
Yep. Thank you.
So that's your niche, Milan. You're the niche. Some people gonna relate to you and not relate to AJ on the same topic because they like, dude, I'm a 6'4" bald dude too that want to travel. So I like the way he talked about that. I played sports, so I got his sports analogy. Where you may be able to tell a perspective from the beauty salon or from something else you may be interested in. I can't see you, so I don't know. But I'm just guessing that there's some other things that you're probably into that AJ isn't into, that when you share your perspective on the same topic, your analogies will be relevant to a different audience than AJ's analogies. Is that fair?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. So as speakers, we got to get better. The one thing about being a speaker and getting better is that you never reach your best. Why? Because you can always improve something. You can improve the way you told a story. You can improve the way you listened and thought about the perspective. There's always something. It's never perfect. So waiting until it's perfect for you to start is a misnomer because it'll never be perfect. That's the point I was making with Cardis. It ain't never gonna be perfect. Somebody did it without a speaker reel. Somebody did it without a speaker website. Somebody inspired you. They ain't have a PowerPoint or nothing. The dude that inspired me was on a bus riding to the Million Man March, standing in front of a bunch of knuckleheads, 16 and 17-year-old kids from the hood. A lot of us had never been out of the city before. And he decided to teach us about how a bank works. It's a thankless job because I don't remember his name and I can't thank him. But that speech had a huge impact on me. I ain't need to see his speaker page. I ain't need to see his one sheet. I ain't need to listen to him on some podcasts first and see how many followers he had. All I needed to do was to pay attention. There's somebody out there who's looking to pay attention to each and every one of us. We just have to have the attention to give them. Does that make sense? So that's the end of my little TED Talk for today. My folks didn't show up, but hopefully this was helpful. Man, I so much potential in our audience to do so much more, right? But I can't send the pictures for you unless you pay us. We'll do it. On the done for you side, we'll do it for you. Remove all these excuses. Right? But we got to get y'all paid more because we got to keep you in the business. So on that note, my call to action today is send more pitches. Send more pitches. If you're not pitching, send pitches. If you don't have SpeakerHub Pro, our software tools, and you just say, hey, I want to Google some email some folks. Look in your phone. You got hundreds of people in your phone that you can reach out to and ask if they can help you to get more speaking gigs. All right. I agree, Melissa. It makes it so easy. And when you see the next things we're doing, wait until the Pro Speaker Summit in April. When you see what we are dropping on y'all in April, it is a game changer. Some of the speakers that I've already lined up, bananas, removes
Hey,
all
Ron,
these.
quick question. I know when I bought the Black Friday special, there was I don't remember what it was called, but it was the
Speaker Launch Formula.
Speaker Launch Formula, and there was going to be some kind of live group. Is there anything happening with that?
Yep, that's coming. That's what April is about. We wanted,
Okay.
here's what we didn't want to do. I thought it would have been hypocritical to launch a course on a platform and then tell you on a different platform and then tell you all to put your course on our platform. You see what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah.
It's not congruent. It's
Sure.
just taking us longer to get this built. But I'll show it to you. I'll show you where we are, right? So again, we want to practice what we preach. So here is our course platform, right? It's still in the early stages, but when it's done, this will be the best community for speakers. We will be the largest community for speakers. So you'll be able to, it'll run just like LinkedIn. So our 63,000 speakers will all be in here, right? We're just testing it now. It looks so much better than our current platform. You'll be able to come in, put your, our 10,000 event planners will be able to post their new events where you can apply directly from inside with or without having to send a pitch, right? You'll be able to do this and build those relationships right from inside. On your new speaker profile, you'll be able to show it's video first. So you'll be able to show your video right at the top. You'll be able to offer
Awesome.
your courses and everything that you want to sell, your trainings, all of that you'll be able to do that from right inside of your speaker profile going forward. Earlier today, your mama mentioned an event that she's going to be speaking at. You all can see that event right here on the side of her profile so that if you wanted to go to it, she doesn't have to mention it here. She can just put it here and it'll show up on your feeds anyway. Right?
That's
This is going to
fantastic.
be a game changer, right? All you got to cover with us is the Stripe fees. You just cover the fees that we got to pay for Stripe for them buying your course. I mean, this is already like Gustavo has already tested this. Like the course stuff is live. Like it ain't an idea. Internal messaging where you can talk with each other. Right now, you all only talk to each other on the call. But imagine being able to having a speech and you're like, look, they're looking for 2 other speakers. AJ, you want to come? Right? Milan, you want to come and do this with me? It's Women's Heritage Month. They want me and they want a Black lady and a white lady. Let's do it. Let's find an Asian lady. We can make it a great event. We could be a panel. This is what this is about. Is this fair?
That's great. So then
Right.
the speaker launch formula will be a course with live components inside of that platform.
Exactly. This call that you're on right now will be live inside of the new SpeakerHub. It won't be in Zoom anymore. It'll be in Zoom inside.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool.
Right. So we're moving everything into one place, but we just have to do it and test one component at a time. Right.
And then will there be separate calls just for the speaker launch formula folks?
Yep. So the speaker launch formula will be a course that the lifetime members have access to, but other people who are not on lifetime, they can buy access to.
Okay. Got it.
Does that make sense?
And then, yeah, that makes sense. And then will the speaker launch formula include separate live calls, or it's just recorded written material?
So for the speaker launch formula, just the course, that's just going to be a course.
Okay.
But you bought the expert
lifetime
account. The expert folks will have their own community. The emerging
Okay.
folks will have their own community. The
Okay.
experienced folks will have their own community. Does that make sense? Because the
Yeah.
issues that you're going to run into are going to be different than the ones that Darren runs into.
Got it.
And the person that's exploring speaking for the first time, like Milan, she's going to have different issues also, because she's still trying to develop what her intellectual property is going to be. We don't need to go through those details with somebody who already has their frameworks and they're already like Bart. Bart doesn't need to be on that call with Milan, who's just starting.
Right. Okay.
Right. So we're going to segment you out into different groups. That way we can give you the attention you need where it doesn't feel like I'm already beyond that.
Okay. So we will have calls where we'll focus on our different issues.
Yep. You'll see
Okay.
it, right?
Okay,
I promise
great.
you, it is the development of this is incredible. It will be launched the same way that we released SpeakerHub Pro during the Pro Speaker Summit in October. That was focused on being proactive because it was the first proactive product. This theme for this one is called product. So we're going to introduce our product platform for you to start selling your products. Let me give you an
Okay,
example.
cool.
I'll give you a preview real quick. One last preview, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see. Ange, what's his name? On here, I got it here, right? I got it.
Oh, the design.
Yeah. I got it. I found it.
So
right. Yep. So here's the logo for the April summit, right? We got to put the other pieces to the puzzle. Some of you all have big products, little products, but speaking is just one part of your IP. If we're going to push you all in that direction, which is where the money is, you can't just be a speaker, right? We got to get you using and displaying your IP in different ways. The big vision of where we're going with SpeakerHub is unmatched. You have no idea. You all are in the right place. Any other questions? Because Sandra, nice to meet you. You want to introduce yourself? Sandra Naomi. Okay, so good to see everybody. Any other questions for me? Milan, that was a great question. Jasmine, it's always good. Sandra, Noemi, you want to introduce yourself or no? Okay, sorry about that. Just wanted to give you the chance if you wanted to. All right, any other questions for me? Do you all like the perspective, the direction we're going with trying to help you all to develop intellectual property, not just limiting yourself to being a speaker? So limiting. So limiting.
That is so right, Ron. The weekend, a friend of mine, texted me. She was listening to one of my podcasts, and she texts me and she says, you should read this book that everyone is reading. It's called What Now? Or So What? So What? So, I saw the book, and I went on Amazon. And on Amazon, this little book, they have, like Stephen Covey, they got pens, they got mugs, they have this, they have this, they have this. They just went nuts. And that is the exact way we're doing right now with our, with our courses. We're not just saying, going to give a keynote speech and come back and let me do a speech, next week. Let me do a speaking gig next week and then come back and preach. It should be a continuation of different things in the different avenues. Let me see how many, my courses. It makes you, so now you're building a business as opposed to a job. So I like where it's going. And I like that it's going here, because these are some of the things that I was sourcing out for myself before I joined, when I decided to go in head first. Because, when you're used to doing a huge business, And, you know, then you're coming now by yourself and just whatever. You're thinking, how can I maximize this? How can I contribute? How can I, you know, how can I learn? And then you take that and you divide up into, like you're saying, product-based intellectual property. Is that when we, and especially building generational health in our culture, you know, that doesn't happen as frequently, right? You know, you want to have something that your daughter or your son can one day run. When you can't speak, what can they do? They can market your books for you. They can market your courses for you, you know, so you don't have to use your mouth. So I totally am on board with where the company is going. I'm glad it is going because that motivates me.
Hey, Jasmine, I'm gonna tell you something you need to go do like very soon. Someone already bought it. Dang it. Like, you know how people always talk about generational wealth,
Yes.
right? And I was looking for the domain generational health because that's what you said. I don't know if you said it on purpose, but
And someone bought it.
Yeah, yeah, someone has it already, but the domain isn't live, but you may be able to purchase it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
I think that generational health could be
Yeah,
that could be really popular.
Because that's how my brain is, you know, like if I don't get hard, if I'm not immersed in hard, you know, I'm not motivated. I like hard.
No, it makes sense. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna let it go. Keep pitching, keep going. This is a great call. Again, sorry for the emotion. Just understand it's passion. It's not, I'm no better than anybody else. I'm just passionate about what we're doing. And I want you guys to win, you know?
Amen. Take care.
All right, I'll let you go. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.